It is the end of the month and the start of a new one, which means it is time for the next book club book announcement. It is unfortunately not time for the live stream. That'll be coming actually, unfortunately, mid-August. I apologize. I'm going to go on vacation to Gen Con and have fun. So I won't be here this weekend. You're not going to see any live streams. You will not see an interruption in recorded videos, though. I might actually upload some extras. I don't know. Might be feeling frisky. But in the month of July, the club has been reading Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, and we'll have the discussion next Saturday. Not the 5th. It's going to be on the 12th. Don't worry, it'll happen. That book is long, confusing, funny, bizarre, absurd, difficult to review, and difficult to criticize. It's sometimes difficult to understand because it jumps back and forth, and almost every single character is insufferable and crazy and stupid and very impressively written. So you see, the thing is that maybe that book was too big. I think a lot of people in the book club did not actually finish reading it. Right now, I still have a couple hours left in the audiobook, but I started slacking when I knew I had the extra time. I apologize. So I've learned my lesson about big books and having to set deadlines and all that, and rolling the dice on these things, which is why for the next month I've chosen Elric of Melnibone by Michael Moorcock. It is only 700 pages long. I trust that all of you will be able to read. No, I'm kidding. This is 4 books in one. I bought this because this was a big reprint of the start of the Elric saga. For the book club, I'm only going to be naming Elric of Melnibone, which is the first book in the official order of these pulps. And, it's like not even 200 pages, which means that for the big overachievers, like I plan to be an overachiever myself, I'm also going to throw in the second book, which is The Fortress of the Pearl. That's if you're an overachiever and you really enjoy it, but I think you'll be able to pick up those books independently, cheap. You can probably get used copies. Go to a used bookstore, an antique bookstore, and support your local business. If you can't get a mass market paperback reprint or something for probably a couple bucks, you don't need to spend $30 on a hardcover like I did. But it looks cool. Now, so why do I want to read this? This is Sword and Sorcery Adventurer pulp from the 70s, so it's not the golden age of pulp, but it is very clearly directly inspired by that, and it in turn is very influential to a lot of the tropes that we're seeing today. The most notable example is the reason you've probably heard of the Elric saga is because everyone kind of points out that the much more successful series, which maybe we'll read in the future, The Witcher, Geralt is a ripoff of Elric in a lot of ways, is what everyone says. Now, I've only read the first book of the Witcher series, and it was pretty good. I'm not opposed to reading more of it. But I wanted to jump back to the source material, just go back a bit deeper, trace back the influences and the inspirations, see how it connects from today's fantasy to the 70s, back to Conan days and all that stuff. I think this is just a good bridging point that should have a lot of interest because, it's Elric. If you don't know, this is the cursed sword guy that he can't live without this life energy devouring sword. And I think at the end of the series, it's implied that he's the end of the universe or something was one of the things that got me interested in the series. Again, though, this is a series I haven't read. I can't really pitch it because I'm new to it. Like, what do you want me to say? I'm picking books that interest me, and I'm trying to justify why I think they have interest to a general audience, that they have name recognition, that they have cause influences, inspirations elsewhere, that will, if you read it, you'll be able to see it. You'll pull the curtain back on what makes good literature a bit better, a bit clearer and all that. So yeah, short video. It's just an announcement, right? Of course, if you want to read along, if you want to join, if you want to talk about these books, there is a link to the Gilded in the description. Gilded is a ripoff of Discord. It's basically exactly just Discord, but it's run by a different company. It doesn't have, in my experience, it doesn't have as many scammers. It doesn't have as many bots and leaks and hacks and all that. Just because there's less people on it, but it's the same service. It's free to sign up, and I've got a small little community over there of readers and writers and creators, and You know, there are comic guys in there and people working on short stories and novels. They're trading tips, tricks, and beta reading, and it's actually really great there. So you should totally join if you want to talk about literature with us. And just to fill up some time, because this video does need to like work with the YouTube algorithm, I'm just gonna read off the back and be lazy, because publishers knew what they were doing when they designed this book. They knew what makes for a good back cover blurb, don't they? Let's find out. Moorcock's literary agitation shook the fantasy and science fiction establishment. Elric is as rich and complex as anything calling itself fantasy, and the Elric stories are terrific fun, says The New Yorker. Moorcock is the greatest writer of pulse-toking British fantasy, says Michael Chabon. Chabon. I don't know. Pulitzer Prize-winning author of The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay and Telegraph Avenue. Moorcock is the most important successor to Mervyn Peake and Wyndham Lewis. The vast tragic symbols by which Moorcock continually illuminates the metaphysical quest of his hero are a measure of the author's remarkable talents. That is J.G. Ballard, author of Empire of the Sun, Crash, and The Drowned World. Moorcock can gleefully give you all of the formula of every kind of story there ever was, because he's tried and tested all of them, and the master storyteller of our time, says Angela Carter, author of The Bloody Chamber and Knights of the Circus. If you are at all interested in fantastic fiction, you must read Michael Moorcock. He changed the field single-handedly. He is a giant, says Tad Williams, best-selling author of the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy. Elric is far and away the coolest, grimmest, moodiest, most elegant, degenerate, drug-addicted, cursed, twisted, and emotionally weird mass murderer of them all. PR. He had a splash, and he actually wrote in the time where being traditionally published genuinely truly meant something. The system actually worked back in the 70s. It is not this scam that we currently have today. So, I hope that you will consider giving this a try. Like I said, the first book is Elric of Melnibone, and the Overachievers. What I'm probably going to start doing with book clubs is a small one and then Overachievement. We'll also be reading Book 2, The Fortress of the Pearl. Together, that will come in at 391 pages. I think that is a lot more approachable for a monthly book club. I'm probably not going to do something Catch-22. But I hope you've been enjoying this. I hope you drop a like. I hope you tell your friends. I hope you subscribe. Tell the algorithm you love it. I hope to see you in my Gilded. Cheers.